Hello from Seoul. Today we're gonna make one of the most addictive Korean side dishes of all time. Trust me, no matter what you do, you just can't stop eating it. Today, we're gonna be making 간장 계란장, one of the most popular Korean side dishes in history. It's so delicious and super addictive. People even call this drug eggs. So today, let's find out together how addictive they really are. But before we start cooking, let's take a moment to thank our sponsor, Kinikora Rappoki. We've done so many quick and easy recipes, but this Kinikora Rappoki, a mix of Korean ramen and spicy rice cakes, is another level. All you need for this simple and delicious meal is just 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Crazy, right? What? You don't buy it? Then let me prove it to you. Open the lid, add the rice cakes, noodles, seasoning powder, and water. And then cover it with a lid and microwave it for just 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's it. It couldn't be any easier than this, right? So you can enjoy it any time of the day like lunch, dinner, or even a late night snack. Plus, they can be stored at room temperature, so you can bring them to school, work, or even camping trips. Super convenient, right? What? You can't handle spicy food? Don't worry about it. With this cheese rappoki, you won't have any issues with the spiciness, so you can enjoy this delicious rappoki even with your kids. You know what? Claire is a big fan of spicy food, but she'll love this cheese version even more. Yes, it's that delicious. If you wanna try the best rappoki, a delicious Korean street food, click the link down below and enjoy special discounts. You wanna experience the authentic taste of Korean street food? Kinikora Rappoki will be with you. Thank you for sponsoring this video, Kinikora Rappoki. For this, you will need some eggs, onion, green chili, red chili, green onions, and garlic. That's it. So simple, right? Actually, even if you skip all of these vegetables, you can still make it delicious. But adding these aromatic vegetables really enhances the flavor and fragrance of the dish. So unless you have an allergy to them, I strongly recommend using all of these. Trust me, it might feel like a bit of a hassle, but you'll be totally worth it in the end. Alright, let's start with the vegetables. First, finely chop a quarter of an onion. This will release its natural sweetness, so it's gonna take your marinade to the next level. What? No yellow onions? Don't worry about it. You could also use white or red. So as always, just use what you have on hand. Everything will be fantastic. Next, finely chop 1 green chili. I'm using 청양고추 here, a spicy Korean chili pepper. But you could also use serrano, jalapeno, or any pepper you like. It will release its flavor into the marinade and make it super addictive. So even though you're not a big fan of spicy stuff, I still recommend adding a little. Just use a smaller amount. Trust me, it might become your best decision of this year. Once that's done, finely chop 1 red chili. This one is not spicy at all and it's mainly for color. So if you can get this kind of mild one, just replace it with some red bell pepper. No problem at all. Now get yourself 2 green onions and thinly slice them. Since mine is a little thinner than the regular green onion, let me just use a few more here. Don't worry about it. As always, more green onions, more delicious. Plus, they're not just used to infuse our marinade, they're also gonna be a great garnish. So if you're a rich guy with a bunch of green onions, just add more in. Lastly, let's smash 2 cloves of garlic and finely chop them. By the way, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog, aaronandclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. Alright, the veg prep is done. Let's move on to our marinade. In a large mixing bowl, add half a cup of soy sauce, half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, a quarter teaspoon of black pepper, and give it a good mix. And then all you need to do is add all the vegetables that we prepared earlier. That's it. Couldn't be any easier, right? Here, some of you might say, Aaron, it looks like a lot of marinade. After I finish all the eggs, what should I do? Good question. I think you're gonna be my favorite student. You can just boil more eggs and make another batch. Or just use it as you normally use soy sauce. It'll be great for stir fries or any dishes that require soy sauce. But I recommend not keeping it for more than a week because it has some vegetables and sesame oil in it. What? You wanna see how I use it? Challenge accepted. At the end of this video, let me show you how I use mine. So please watch it until the end. Alright, this time, let's cook the eggs. You can go for soft-boiled or hard-boiled eggs, but personally, I prefer soft-boiled for this dish. What? You think making soft-boiled eggs is tricky? Don't worry about it. As always, with me, that's gonna be easy. Fill your pot with 6 cups of water and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, reduce the heat to low, gently add in 6 large eggs and let them cook for 7 minutes. And once all the eggs are in, gently stir them around so that the yolks can be nicely in the center. Or give them a little shake before you place them in the pot. It's a pretty good tip, right? When time's up, shock them in some ice water. And then once they're completely cooled, you can just peel the eggs. That's it! It's way easier than you think, right? For information, you can add up to 10 eggs into this marinade. So feel free to prepare extra eggs using this method. Alright, let's set them to the marinade and gently stir them around. Once that's done, we can just give them some privacy in the fridge for about 6 hours or overnight. Nothing complicated, right? But there's one thing to watch out for. That is, depending on the size of your container, the eggs might not be fully submerged. While this won't make a huge difference in taste, leaving them like that for too long, you might end up with some eggs that are tanned on one side, and that will look a little weird. So to avoid that situation, just give them a few stir halfway through the marinating time. Now for the best flavor, I would like to say see you guys tomorrow. But since our channel has a taste tester who's hungry all the time, let's dig in right away. We've spent some time shooting B-roll, and if we drizzle with a generous amount of marinade, it should be alright. Alright, let's call our taste tester.
Claire. Ooh, nice and shiny. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Let's give it a try. Ooh, 따뜻한 밥 좀 주세요. 아, 맛있겠다. Oh my god, look at this. Let's add some extra sesame oil and green onions. Let's break it. 와, oh my god. 먹기 좋게 조금 더 쪼개볼게. 이런 느낌으로 샥 먹으면 되겠다. 여기 위에 있는 야채들도 맛있으니까 듬뿍 같이. It's messy goodness. Cheers. 오 마이 갓. 참기름을 추가로 더 넣은 건 신의 한 수였어. 와, 진짜 입안 한가득 참기름 향이 샥 퍼지면서 너무 풍미가 샥 올라오는 게 제대로다. If you're not a big fan of sesame oil, replace it with butter. That's gonna be awesome too. Oh my god. One more bite. 진짜 맛있다. 그리고 그 간장의 짭조름함이랑 그 야채에서 오는 여러 가지 향이 진짜 맛있어. 야채는 아삭아삭하지 깨는 입에서 톡톡톡톡 터지지. 너무 좋네. 그냥 너무 맛있네. 오, 솔직히 어느 정도냐면 계란 없이 그 간장 소스만 싹 뿌려가지고 먹어도 밥 한 공기 정말 뚝딱 할 수 있을 정도로 그 정도로 맛있거든. Good stuff. 맛있다. 오, 간장 이렇게 많이 써도 전혀 아깝지 않다. 너무 맛있다. 하나 더 훔쳐와도 될까요? Can I have some more? 너무 부족해. 하나 가지고는 부족해요. And more marinade. 요거는 진짜 너무 쉽고 간단하니까 그냥 생각날 때마다 만들어서 냉장고에다 탁 쟁여놓고 뭔가 이렇게 보물 꺼내듯이 꺼내서 먹으면 너무너무 좋을 반찬이다. Highly recommended. So good.
Alright, let me show you how to use the leftover marinade in different ways. If you think of this as a lightly seasoned soy sauce, it's not that difficult to use. You can just use it like regular soy sauce. So first, let's make a super simple bulgogi, Korean barbecue beef. Get yourself a wok or pan, add 1 tablespoon of oil and turn on the heat to medium-high. Once it gets nice and hot, add 1 or 2 green onions, a quarter of an onion, and some julienne carrots. and saute those for about 1 to 2 minutes. Once they start to soften, add 250 grams of thinly sliced beef, 6 tablespoons of our marinade, and cook for about 4 minutes or until the beef is cooked through. Once that's done, give it a quick taste and add some soy sauce, oyster sauce, or salt to taste. Once it tastes perfect to you, you can add half a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil and some black pepper for extra flavor, and garnish with some green onions and toasted sesame seeds. It's unbelievably easy, right? This time, let's make a veggie stir fry. Since I have some leftover asparagus, I'm gonna go with this guy, but you can use almost any kind of veggies you have, so don't worry about it. To a wok or pan, add 1 tablespoon of oil and heat it over medium-high heat. Once it gets nice and hot, add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and saute for about 30 seconds. Once it starts to smell real nice, add 300 grams of chopped asparagus and stir fry for about 1 minute. And then add 3 tablespoons of our marinade and stir fry them for about 1 to 2 minutes. And then just like before, give it a quick taste and add some salt to taste. Once it tastes perfect to you, you can finish it off with half a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, some green onions, and toasted sesame seeds. So simple, right? With this method, you can make countless delicious veggie stir fries. So feel free to experiment with different vegetables. Trust me, everything will be fantastic. By now, you probably realized that making Korean pancake is not difficult at all. But you know what? What we're gonna make today is the easiest of them all. The fewest ingredients and the simplest. Trust me, you'll be the best savory pancake you will ever have. I guarantee. Today, we're gonna be making yachaejeon, one of the most popular Korean savory pancakes in history. Despite its renown, it's actually quite simple and easy to make. Even though you don't feel like cooking at all, this is something you can easily whip up in just 15 minutes. And for that reason, it always ranks as the #1 Korean pancake. Of course, that's my guess though, but the fact that it's truly delicious is absolutely undeniable. For this, you will need some garlic chives, potato, carrot, green and red chilies, and green onions. So simple, right? What? You want it to be simpler? Then just try with some garlic chives. That's what we call gochujang, and I'm sure you will love that too. However, these all contribute to more flavor and textures. So this time, I want you to follow my lead. Alright, let's prepare vegetables. First, take a big handful of garlic chives and cut them into strips, about 2 inches long. When they're cooked in some oil, they'll become nice and fragrant, so please be generous with them. What? You're not a big fan of garlic chives? Then bring our love, green onion. They could be more expensive, but more fancy. Next, cut half a potato into thin matchsticks. The ingredients that take the longest to cook in this pancake are the potatoes and the carrots. Undercooked carrots are okay, but you don't want to eat raw potatoes, right? So make sure you slice them as thinly as possible. Otherwise, you might have to face a cold brown situation tomorrow morning. And that is not my responsibility. And then let's drill in some carrot. I'm gonna use about a third. And please keep in mind that the vegetables that I'm using today are just guidelines. As long as they don't have strong flavors that could disrupt the balance, like cilantro or celery, you can almost use any vegetables in here. So if you have lots of veggies in your fridge, bring them all. Don't worry about it. Everything will be fantastic. This time, let's slice some chili peppers. I'm using 1 청양고추, spicy Korean chili pepper, and some mild red chili. But you could also use any pepper you like. Serrano or jalapeno works great for this recipe. So just use what you have on hand. That little bit of heat from chili peppers will elevate your dish to the next level. Lastly, let's grab our love, green onions, and thinly slice them. I'm just gonna use 2 green onions, but you can add some more if you want. As always, more green onions, more delicious. Alright, everything is all set. Let's make the pancake batter. In a large mixing bowl, add 1.5 cups of AP flour, half a teaspoon of salt, some black pepper, 1.5 cups of icy cold water, and whisk them all together. For information, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog at runandclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. And if you happen to have some Korean pancake mix like this, go ahead and use that. It's already seasoned, so you don't need to add any salt and pepper, and it's gonna be more crispy. But don't get me wrong, I'm not sponsored. And here's one more tip. If you wanna make this even better, then instead of salt, add the same amount of this Korean beef stock powder or chicken bouillon powder. Thanks to these bad boys, you're gonna hear that, man, you should open your own restaurant. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. Once it's well mixed, add all the veggies and give it a good mix. Normally, when Koreans make this kind of pancake, we don't measure things with a scale or a measuring cup. But I'm just doing this to give you a guideline. So if you don't want to look up a recipe or you just want to do it by eye like Koreans, just remember this one thing. Minimize the batter and add lots of vegetables. The batter only needs to work like glue. So as long as it holds the veggies together, your pancakes will always be delicious. That's a pretty good tip, right? Alright, before we start cooking, let's make our dipping sauce. When having these Korean vegetable pancakes, we shouldn't miss out on this delicious sauce, right? So let's slice 1 green chili, 1 red chili, half of a green onion, and roughly chop a quarter of an onion. These will not only release their flavor into the sauce, they will also be your beautiful garnish. Now, into a small container, add all the veggies, 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2.5 tablespoons of vinegar, a pinch of sugar, and give it a good mix. That's it. But if you wanna add some extra heat to this, then add about 1 tablespoon of Korean chili pepper flakes. This dipping sauce can be stored in the fridge for about 3 to 5 days, so feel free to use it with other dishes. No matter what you pair it with, it's gonna be incredibly delicious. Alright, we're set. Let's get cooking. Get yourself a large pan, add a generous amount of oil, and heat it over medium heat. To get them nice and crispy, they have to be cooked almost like deep frying, so I recommend using at least 2 tablespoons of oil for one batch. Once it gets nice and hot, add some batter, spread it out, and evenly distribute the vegetables. Now we're just gonna fry for about 3 to 4 minutes or until golden brown. Once the edges start to cook, shake your pan occasionally so that the oil from the edges can go into the center. This will prevent the center from getting soggy. As soon as the bottom turns golden brown, using a spatula, flip and cook the other side for about 3 to 4 minutes. It doesn't really matter how big or small, so feel free to make it whatever size you like. But if this is your first time making Korean pancakes, I recommend making them a bit smaller. That way, they will cook more evenly and crispy, and that's gonna be much easier to flip. When both sides are golden brown and crispy, put it on a wire rag or on some paper towels, and repeat with the remaining batter. There's nothing complicated, right? Don't be overwhelmed and give this a try. Trust me, even though you don't like eating vegetables, you will absolutely love this dish. Alright, our pancake is done. Let's go ahead and plate this up. Nicely arrange some pancakes on a serving plate and put some of our dipping sauce into a small bowl. Don't just add the soy sauce, make sure you put enough veggies in there. Alright, it's done. Let's go to our taste tester.
Claire?
Ooh! Aaron, did you open a Korean pancake restaurant? Our entire house smells wonderful. Guys, I'm super hungry because of the smell. I really need to try it right now. Let's give it a try. It's gonna be so good. Let's make a small bite-sized pieces with chopsticks. But if it's difficult to do it, simply cut it with the scissors. Let's get some vegetables from the dipping sauce and put it over the pancakes. Cheers! 너무 맛있다. 일단 야채를 듬뿍듬뿍 많이 넣어줘서 반죽의 맛이 많이 나는 그런 팬케이크가 아니라 야채의 맛을 정말 맛있게 즐길 수 있는 그런 완벽한 팬케이크로 나와서 너무 맛있네. 그리고 이 소스랑 무조건 같이 먹어야 돼. 이 간장에서 나오는 짭조름함이 이 팬케이크에 간을 샥 맞춰줘가지고 진짜 너무너무 감칠맛 나게 너무 맛있어. 훨씬 더 맛있게 만들어줘. 저는 기름에 붙이다 보니까 자칫 많이 먹다 보면 좀 느끼해질 수 있잖아. 근데 이 디핑 소스 안에 있는 여러 가지 야채들, 그 중에서도 특히나 고추에서 나오는 그 hit이, 그 매콤한 맛이 자연스럽게 너무너무 잘 녹아져 있어가지고 그 느끼한 맛을 싹 잡아주는 그 부분이 너무 좋다. 그리고 이게 그냥 단순히 짜지만 않고 약간 좀 새콤한 소스여가지고 너무너무 잘 어울려, 이 팬케이크랑. 맛있어. 그리고 겉에가 진짜 딱 입에서도 먹었었을 때 바삭바삭한 느낌이 싹 느껴지네. 맛있네. 맛있어가지고 말을 너무 많이 했어. 한 번 더 먹어야겠어. 멈추지 말고 그냥 먹어. 찍었다가 이제 야채를 올려서 다시 좀 더 추가해서 먹어도 됩니다. 바삭바삭. 아마 이거 오늘 다 먹으면 오늘 필요한 야채 섭취量다 섭취할 수 있을걸? 그 정도로 야채가 많이 들어가줘서 뭔가 건강해진 느낌이다. I just love as it is, but if you want some protein here, you can add some squid or shrimp here. That's gonna be fantastic too. This is the protein. This is totally optional, but to fully enjoy this yachejan, let's pair it with some makgeolli, Korean rice wine. 이 정도 먹기 전에 한 입 준비해 놓고 바로 입에 넣겠다. Cheers! Oh my god! 이거지 이거! This is so good! I really want you to try these combinations. This is so good.
I've seen so many people being afraid of making Korean steamed eggs, so I decided to make this ultimate guide for you. Trust me, after watching this video, you'll be the master of this dish. Today, we're gonna be making keranjim, Korean steamed eggs. It's a simple, easy, and delicious Korean side dish that everybody loves. What? It looks difficult to make? Don't worry about it. As always, with me, you'll be able to nail the perfect steamed eggs every time. And at the end of this video, I have a little surprise for you, so do not miss it. For this, you will need some eggs. That's it. But if you could add some green onions and carrots, trust me, you'll make the most beautiful Korean steamed eggs that you ever had. But this is totally optional, so don't worry about it. Alright, let's crack 5 large eggs into a small container. Add a pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, and give it a good mix. Here, the sugar is not for making it sweet. It's more like a flavor enhancer, so it's gonna boost the overall taste. And the same thing goes for geranmari, Korean rolled omelets, so don't be afraid of using it. Trust me, that tiny amount of sugar will make your egg dishes taste like 100 times better. Next, thinly slice half a green onion. The combination of eggs and green onions is truly amazing. So if you only think about flavor, it's better to use a good amount. But if too much veggies go in, the eggs will not rise up properly. So I recommend using just a little. And lastly, finely chop some carrots. That's it. It's unbelievably simple, right? For information, Korean steamed eggs are usually cooked in a special pot called tukbaegi, an earthenware pot. What? You don't have one? Don't worry about it. You can't just use a heavy-bottomed pot. What's more important is that we should have a dome-shaped lid, because it will trap the heat inside and that's gonna help our eggs flop up beautifully. What? You don't have that either? Neither do I. But we don't have to worry about it. You can just cover it with another tukbaegi, a soup bowl, or you can even use this kind of stainless steel bowl. But just make sure that's heat-proof. You know, if it explodes, that's gonna be a disaster. Alright, let's add 1 cup of water to the tukbaegi. Add half a teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder and give it a good mix. Traditionally, this dish is seasoned with salted shrimp, but not everyone has easy access to that, right? So today, let's just use this chicken bouillon powder. It's not only gonna season the eggs, but it's also gonna add a ton of umami. Think about it. Chicken and eggs, it's impossible not to be good together, right? Or this Dashida Korean beef stock powder works great, so just use whatever works for you. Everything will be fantastic. By the way, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog, aaronandclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. Now place the pot on the stove and turn on the heat to medium. Once the broth starts bubbling, pour in the egg mixture. From now, we're just gonna cook for about 2 minutes, but make sure to keep stirring it while gently scraping the bottom and sides of the pot. During this step, the eggs will start to set and kind of look like scrambled eggs. And if you don't stir well, they won't cook evenly and those on the sides might burn. And by any chance, if you want a more fluffy version that looks like a volcano eruption, prepare some additional egg mixture and pour it in a little bit on the sides. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. Alright, once your eggs look like fluffy SpongeBob, reduce the heat to low, and then add the green onions, carrots, and cover the lid, and let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. During this step, the broth might overflow or you can smell a slight burnt smell, but it's okay, it is so natural. If two things happen, that's a good sign that you're doing it properly. Alright, time's up, let's open the lid. How does it look? It looks perfect, right? Let's turn the heat off and finish it off with some toasted sesame seeds and 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Alright, it's done. Let's go to our taste tester. Claire?
Woo! Wow, it looks and smells awesome! 냄새 맡는 순간 너무 배고파. I'm super hungry. Let's give it a try. 위에 당근이랑 파도 아주 예쁜 색감을 추가해주면서 너무 맛있어 보이네. Cheers! 입천장 되지 않게 조심히 먹어야지. 맛있어. 그냥 먹는 순간 몸이 사르르 그냥 막 녹는 느낌이야. 계란의 그 몽글몽글한 텍스처가 입에서 온전히 느껴지면서 야채들은 아삭아삭, 깨도 막 톡톡 터지는 게 식감의 대조가 이루어지는 게 너무 좋아. 거기다가 맛은 짭조름한데 거기에 참기름도 살짝 녹아져 있어가지고 되게 고소하니 너무 맛있다. 확실히 그 다른 계란찜들이랑 좀 다르게 한국식 계란찜은 너무 부드럽지만 않고 약간 그 텍스처가 살아있어가지고 약간 그 거친 그 느낌, 그것만이 또 묘미가 있어. 한번 맛보면 그 매력에 빠져나올 수가 없어. 바운시 바운시 지글리 지글리. 이렇게 먹을 수는 없겠다. 입천장 다 뒤겠다. It's way hotter than you think, so please be careful. 주로 우리 이거 밥 반찬으로 많이 먹지만 난 이런 식으로 그냥 온전히 하나만 즐겨 먹는 게 맛있더라. 뭔가 스크램블 에그랑 숲이랑 섞여 있는 그런 느낌이어가지고 너무 좋아. 밥이 필요 없어. 든든할 거야.
This time, let me show you how to make the easiest steamed eggs with the microwave. Don't worry about it. Just because we are using the microwave, it doesn't mean you'll have to sacrifice flavor. So try this method for busy mornings or weeknight dinners. It's so simple, easy, and convenient. You might like this method even more. For this, you'll need exactly the same ingredients. And just like before, let's crack 5 large eggs into a microwave-safe container. And add a pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, half a teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder, and beat them up really well. Next, add 1 cup of hot water and mix it thoroughly. The key to this recipe using hot water. If you use cold water, it's gonna take longer to cook, and you might end up with some ugly, overcooked green steamed eggs. Nobody wants that, right? Once everything is well combined, throw in some green onions, carrots, and cover the lid and pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you will see the eggs starting to set. So grab a spoon and gently stir it like this. Again, this is gonna help evenly cook the eggs. Now let's put it back into the microwave and cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. That's it. Unbelievably simple, right? But please keep in mind that the cooking time might vary depending on your microwave. Alright, it's done. Let's finish it off with some toasted sesame seeds and 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. So easy, right? The taste is amazing. Seriously, you should give this a try. Even if you're an eggplant hater, I can definitely change your mind with this dish. Trust me, after just 1 bite with some hot rice, you will become an eggplant lover in no time. Today, we're gonna be making kajinamu, one of my favorite Korean side dishes of all time. Just like many other Korean side dishes, it's quick, easy, and delicious. So if you make this and keep it in your fridge, you will have a tasty side dish ready for a few days. So no more worries like, what should I eat today? Trust me, once you try it, you will want to keep it stocked every week. For this, you will need some eggplants, garlic, green onions, and red chilies. So simple, right? But you know what? This red chili is even optional. It's mainly for color. Can you believe you can make one of the most beloved Korean side dishes with just these few ingredients? So please go ahead and give this a try. You won't regret it. Alright, let's prep the eggplants first. Take 1 pound or 450 grams of eggplants and cut off the ends. But do not cut off too much, otherwise you'll be thinking like, I should have not wasted before. There's not enough eggplants for me. Yes, it's that good, so do not waste it. Once that's done, give them a quick rinse and cut them into larger chunks, about 2 inches long. We're gonna steam these and shred them by hand to give it an authentic vibe. But if that sounds like too much work for you, you can totally cut them into matchsticks. No problem at all. Alright, let's head over to the stove and cook our eggplants. Grab a big pot, add some water, place your steamer basket in, and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, carefully add the eggplants, cover the lid, and let them steam. If you prefer a firmer texture, steam them for about 3 minutes. Or, if you want a softer and creamier texture, give them about 5 minutes. What? You're not a big fan of steamed eggplants? Don't worry about it. Then you can cook them in the oven or air fryer with a little bit of oil. Or you can just simply pan fry them. No problem at all. So feel free to customize it however you like. Trust me, as always, everything will turn out fantastic. Alright, once they're done steaming, remove them from the pot and let them cool off a little bit. But don't put them on your cutting board, because if you do, they'll leave stains and it's gonna be very hard to remove. And you know what happens next? That's right, your mom will hunt you down and kick your ass. So please be careful. What? You wanna know this kind of tip more and more? I'm so glad you brought that up, because everything you need is in this one book. Trust me, with this one book, you can cook more than 100 Korean dishes like a pro, so don't forget to check it out. The link is in the description. While the eggplants are cooling down, let's prep the other ingredients. First, smash 3 cloves of garlic and finely chop them. Next, thinly slice 1 or 2 green onions. And lastly, finely chop half of a mild red chili. As I said earlier, this red chili is optional, but it really makes the dish look a lot prettier, so I highly recommend using it. But if you want to avoid any spice, you can use red bell pepper instead. That's gonna be fantastic too. Now let's make the sauce. In a small container, add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, half a tablespoon of sugar, half a tablespoon of Korean chili pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon of fish sauce, half a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, a few shakes of black pepper, and give it a good mix. Here, if you don't have fish sauce, you can just use more soy sauce, but this bad boy really adds another layer of flavor and a whole bunch of umami. So unless you're allergic to this, I highly recommend using it. By the way, we have all the instructions and a list of ingredients on our blog, aaronandclaire.com, so please visit here if you need a written recipe. Once it's well mixed, add in all the veggies and give it a good stir. That's it! Unbelievably simple, right? But what's even better is you can totally adjust to your taste. If you want it to be spicier, add more gochugaru, Korean chili pepper flakes. If you're not into heat, you can skip the chili pepper flakes altogether. It's totally a matter of preference, so follow your heart. As always, everything will be absolutely amazing. Alright, when the eggplants are curling off the handle, tear them into bite-sized pieces. As I mentioned earlier, you could also use a knife, but shredding by hand will give it a more authentic vibe. Plus, the uneven surface will help them pick up our beautiful sauce better, so it will taste so much better at the end. Now let's pour in our sauce and gently toss them together. Yes, I said gentle, so do not squeeze them or rub them. Otherwise, you will end up with weird puree or something. Last but not least, let's sprinkle half a tablespoon of toasted sesame seeds. But if you wanna get a more intense nutty flavor, crush them a little bit and sprinkle them on top. Alright, let's give them a final mix and place them on a plate. Then, there you have it, your Korean eggplant side dish. How does it look? It looks absolutely delicious, right? Alright, let's call our taste tester.
Claire.
오, 가지나물. 집밥 분위기 제대로네. It looks super delicious. Let's give it a try. 위에 뿌려져 있는 이 고추가 아주 맛있어 보이게 해주네. It's calling my name. Cheers. 맛있다. 이만큼 예상 안 했는데 맛있네. 하나만 더 먹어보고. 와. 일단 어릴 때 내가 먹던 오버쿡된 가지랑 진짜 식감이 완전히 다르네. 겉에 이 껍질 부분, 보라색 부분은 탱글탱글하면서 속에는 엄청 부드러워가지고 식감의 대조가 일단 너무너무 좋아. 너무 맛있어. 그리고 양념은 진짜 이거 그냥 정말 딱 한국식 양념이다. 제대로 된 그 마늘의 알싸함이랑 간장에서 오는 그 짭조름함이랑 그다음 참기름에서 나오는 그 고소함이 미친 궁합을 만들어가지고 진짜 너무 맛있어. 한 입 먹자마자 밥이랑 먹어야겠다. 딱 그 생각이 들게 만드는 그런 맛이야. This time, let's try with rice. Because it's banchan, Korean side dish. 비주얼 미쳤다. Cheers! 너무 맛있다. 밥이랑 먹으니까 그 양념의 맛들이 사는 것 같아. 온전히 다 느껴져. 위에다 살짝 올려가지고 덮밥 형식으로 먹어도 너무 좋겠어. 솔직히 말하면 나도 어릴 때는 가지를 별로 좋아하지 않았던 사람인데 이렇게 제대로 조리만 하기만 하면 절대 맛이 없을래요. 없을 수가 없어. So I highly recommend trying this. You're gonna love it so much. Enjoy!